Welcome everybody to Deck Pass Live. We're here at the IU Natatorium for the final night of swimming in the TYR Pro Swim Series in Indianapolis. I'm Jeff Cummings here with 12-time Olympic medalist Natalie Coughlin. Natalie, it's so good to see you.
Thank you. It's good to be here back at Indiana. It's been a long time. It's bringing back a lot of memories.
Yeah, you've had a lot of good memories here.
A lot of good ones.
So we're bringing you Deck Pass Live now with the final event of this Pro Swim Series, the men's 800 freestyle. The guys are walking out to the blocks right now. So let's bring you that race right now. It's going to be a great race now. We got Zane Grothe and Felix Albeck. They've been kind of battling back and forth over the past few days here. Here's the start list. Albeck's going to be in 4, Zane Grothe's in 5. It looks like Marwan El Kamash, who is going to be actually a pretty good contender, is not going to be there. So I think it's going to be between lanes 4 and 5. So we're going to see how those two guys shape up for this race. It's going to be really fun, especially after we just saw what Katie Ledecky did in that 800 freestyle.
Man, the pressure's on for these top 8 guys. I think Katie would have placed 3rd in the men's mile, so we'll see how many, if any, these she beats in this final tonight. I think she'll probably get a few.
Yeah, I think all those guys are looking and said 8:07. Oh my gosh.
They're like, oh, dang it.
All right, so these guys are going to be setting up for the 800, and we'll chat up and see what's going on with you. They're going to be introducing the guys, as I said. What's going to be really key is we got to keep an eye on on Zane Grothe, because he's in a battle with Chase Kalish for the overall points in
Correct.
the TYR Pro Swim Series, and that's a very important one. They get $10,000 if you win the overall points total.
And the BMW, correct?
And the BMW lease. So
don't forget the BMW. That's a nice perk.
yeah, to roll around wherever you are in a BMW would be
Yeah.
pretty cool. So these guys are stepping up for that, so we'll watch this start here. Again, it's an 800, so obviously the start's not extremely critical, but I would imagine these guys, they know that even just those few tenths matter.
You don't want to waste any opportunities, and you want to kind of set the tone, especially in something like the 800. You get drafts, you get this or that. You don't want to waste any opportunities.
No, absolutely not. So these guys are off in their 800, so it gives us an opportunity to catch up. So I was telling people you're going to be on the show, and everybody just has said, what's she been up to? So that's my question.
Man.
What has Natalie Coughlin been up to?
I've been up to a lot. I continue to work for all my old sponsors, which is awesome. And so I travel around, get to see all the swimming people still, which is awesome. I started a winery last year, Gadarian Wines. So we're making Pinot Noir and Chenin Blanc, which is really exciting. So I get up to Napa Valley quite a bit. And also, I'm working at a data analytics company. So I'm at a tech startup right outside Silicon Valley. So I'm doing a lot of very, very different things. It's keeping me very, very busy. But I always have been better at staying busy than not.
Yeah. Well, the winery thing, I think, doesn't surprise me as much. I mean, you're a big foodie.
Yes.
So to be able to dabble in wine, of course, you're up in the Bay Area, is not too far from Napa. But where did that idea to start a winery, to start a wine label come from?
It was something that was always a pipe dream of mine. I never thought I'd actually do it. But one of my good friends is a winemaker. She was going to start her own label and needed a business partner, knew that I was really hardworking, and knew that I would say yes, basically. She texted me, and within a minute, I was like, yes, and now you can't take this back. We're partners. So it's really exciting. I'm learning a lot on the job, and it does go along with the food. And also, I just finished my cookbook, which will come out next spring.
Oh wow! Mark your calendars. Next spring.
Next spring, like February or March or so. It'll be titled Cook to Thrive, and so it'll have a lot of my recipes from when I was training, a lot of recipes that are inspired by my travels, and then a lot of family recipes. So a little mixing and matching, and then hopefully I'll pair some with our Pinot and Chenin Blanc.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I just definitely cannot wait, because I know that I remember when you were on Chopped, and I know when you were a guest judge on all these food judging shows, that you really know your stuff. So when you're doing these recipes, I mean, how much is it when you're doing recipes of kind of guessing, or do you really follow the recipe to the letter?
It's a lot of trial and error. That's the thing that's so great about cooking as opposed to baking. Like, baking is science, and wine is science. Cooking, you just kind of go with the flow. You go down a path. You could fix it as you go. So last year was when I was testing all the recipes and coming up with all the recipes, and that was so tough because I went from training with my team and being around 40 people a day, interacting with people all day. So locked in my kitchen, testing recipes, no one around me. I started talking to my dogs as if they were people. It was so lonely. It was a really hard process, but it was really fun, and it'll be really rewarding once it's out there to be able to share it with people.
I can't wait, because I know that you were very much into nutrition when you were training, and obviously every athlete is.
Yes.
And I think a lot of athletes are probably looking for that kind of guidance, because you know, especially if you're not in like a pro setting or in a college setting where you can get that kind of guidance. If you're like a high school athlete, you don't really have someone to say, okay, here's what you probably need to do if you want to be healthy and nutritious and be able to be your best every day in training. So I think I would have bet your recipe's kind of geared toward that.
There's a lot of healthy recipes, but there are also some indulgent ones. And I wanted to do both because I think it's really important for people to realize that it's not an all or nothing thing. You could have super, super healthy recipes, but you could still have a really nice pasta bolognese. You could have a fatty steak. You can mix that into your diet and still live an overall healthy lifestyle. And I think that's really important to teach people that, you know, you could have a burger every once in a while, but then go back to eating really healthy. And it's all about balance. And that's how you lead a healthy life, is if you do that. If it's all or nothing, you're just going to take one step forward and 2 steps backward.
You're absolutely right.
All right, so let's go back to this 800 here. They're at the 450 mark, and Zane Grothe has got about a 7-meter lead over Felix Albeck, so he's got a pretty substantial lead here. Now, I remember in Mesa about 3 weeks ago, Zane and Marin El Kamash, who's not swimming, they were battling it out neck and neck. So I bet you Zane's got to be feeling pretty good. He's got this big lead now. He's probably feeling a little more comfortable.
Zane is always someone who really prides himself on coming home really, really fast. That last 50, that last 100.
Yeah.
So to see him 2, 3, 4 body lengths ahead of the field, I would assume that he's very comfortable right now. You know, as comfortable as one could be in the middle of an 800 freestyle.
Absolutely right. And I think this is, and it's really good to see this underwater shot to see they're kicking pretty strong. I mean, remember back 20 years ago, they were barely kicking. It was like 2 beat kicks for this freestyle.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. I think one of the first people to have a 6 beat or an 8 beat kick was really Eric Vent. He was one of the first that I saw, and then Larson Jensen did that as well, and really proved that you could do that and still finish an 800. I mean, back then it was more the mile for the men. But you could do well. And all these guys, what they do is they train day in and day out so hard. It's all about fitness, and they're aggressive in their 800s. It's not the same way that people used to split it.
Did you ever used to have to do 800s to the meet?
Yeah, all the time. And I did backstroke half the time.
Oh no.
I did a lot. People forget because I tricked everyone into thinking that I was just a sprinter, but yeah, back in high school, I would do the 4 a.m., I would do the 400 free, the 800. The mile I used to get out of, because that wasn't an Olympic event at the time.
Yeah.
Now it is. But I did many 800s in my day.
Oh, I can imagine that. But it obviously does help when you're a sprinter. You can reach back into that endurance.
Yes. It's 2 very separate systems.
Yeah.
But if you ever saw me off the blocks, I shouldn't have been in the 800. I had more fast twitch than a typical 800 swimmer would.
I want to touch on your swim squad.
They're doing really well here. Melanie Margalis was the big one of the nights. She got 3 wins here.
Yes. Melanie is really strong. Every time we go into a meet, I text Melanie and I ask her, what do you want to represent Coghlan squad in? Because she's like a Swiss Army knife. I could put her in almost anything, and I have used her that way. So that's why I drafted her second, because I knew she would be so strong. So she's been really good. Lily won for me tonight.
You got Simone swimming for you now?
Allie Duluth got second tonight in the 100 back. It was such a close finish. But Olivia, great job. I have a really, really good squad. So I think going forward, it's really going to be Lenny and me battling. Unfortunately, Team Lizak is not doing so well.
Yeah, without the backstroke, that hurts.
Oh man, you should see the trash talking between squads. Lenny is just crying about not having backstrokers, but he dropped it. His draft strategy was it's interesting. But to draft all male breaststrokers probably isn't the way to go.
Not the way to go. Maybe once in a while. All right, so here's the finish. Zane Grothe, a big swim, 750.
750 is very strong.
I think that's
very,
actually
very
his best
strong.
time, 750.94, his best time by 3/100ths of a second. Look at that, he's happy with that.
Nice.
And he basically did that all by himself. I mean,
Nice.
that's like a Katie Ledecky swim. You know, you're out there, you don't have much motivation. You just got to keep churning away.
It's really tough. Distance swimming is very, very mental. All of swimming is really mental, but distance swimming especially. So I think in training you get so used to that in a situation like this, autopilot takes over in the race.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations to Zane. That was a really good swim.
That was really good.
Well, Natalie, I've had so much fun talking with you. I think we ought to keep doing this. How about
Yes.
we co-host Deck Pass Live in Santa Clara?
Sounds good. It's in my backyard.
Yeah, I think I'd love to go out to Santa Clara again. So everybody, please join us in Santa Clara, June 7th through 10th. Natalie and I will be co-hosting all six shows for you, so don't miss that. Thanks so much for joining us, Natalie. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with Zane Grothe.
And those are the results of the men's 800 freestyle. You see Zane Grothe, 750.94, almost 8 seconds ahead of Felix Albeck. And Zane Grothe joins us right now. Zane, congratulations. That was a big win. Best time, right?
Yeah, that is the best time. Just barely, but I did squeak under it.
And mid-May, beginning a best time, how does that feel?
It feels really good. You know, that's what I was going for, at least the best time. So to know I got it already, it's good.
And after a long week of racing, I mean, you started the meet with the mile, and you had the 400, the 200, all that.
Yeah.
I mean, mentally, I know you said you wanted to go for this, but, you know, when you get through the halfway point and, you know, your teammates are cheering for you and everything, was there a point where you're like, I don't know, I just need a break, I need to slow down a bit?
I was a little shaky. I'd negative split almost all of my races this weekend, and I told my coach I didn't want to do it again. For the 800, he said he was on the same track that I was, so I went for it. I got to the 400. I looked at him. He said I was doing good, and I trusted him, and I went with it.
So, based on how you swam this whole meet, what kind of grade would you give yourself?
Definitely an A.
I agree with you there. I agree with you. I
Thank you.
was saying congratulations on the 800 win and the whole week, and we'll look forward to seeing how you do the rest of this series.
Great, thank you.
All right, so that's Zane Grothe, the big winner in the 800 freestyle. He's going to be getting ready for the national championships, which are the end of July in Irvine.
Yeah.
And we want everybody to be there, and you definitely want to get fired up for that. All right. And speaking of nationals, one of the people we definitely want to be looking for at nationals is Matt Grievers, who won the 100 backstroke tonight. Very close finish, almost run down by Jacob Pebley. I had the chance to talk to Matt earlier in the meet. All right, so Matt, this is a very exciting pro swim series here in Indianapolis. You got to stay pretty close to home last time in Mesa. Now you're traveling from Indianapolis. Do you like to travel for meets, or do you prefer that they're really close?
I probably prefer that they're really close, but this is close to my old home. So my parents got to drive up from Chicago, and they're getting to watch me and getting to hang out with them. So this is also really nice.
It's kind of a bummer I don't see Annie and Skylar here. Why aren't they here with you?
They headed to San Antonio, Texas to hang out with Annie's mom and dad, so they'll be there for the week, and it's kind of nice. I like them being here, but it's also, I like to just focus on swimming while I'm here at the meet, so that's also pretty nice.
So since Skylar's been born, when you're up racing, how often, you're behind the blocks, are you thinking about her, cheering for dad?
At Mesa, I saw her, so I thought about it a lot. But otherwise, I get in the zone still pretty well, and when I'm focused and racing at a bigger meet like this, I really don't think about much of the outside world. I'm just thinking about the best stroke I have and a race plan. So, yeah, not too much right behind the blocks, unless she's staring at me and saying "Dada," then I can't help it.
So when Nationals is coming up in Irvine, are they going to be there watching you, or are they going to be watching from home?
I think they'll be watching from home. Again, I like to just I love having them there, but FaceTime technology's come a long way, and it's pretty awesome that you can talk to them like they're there, and then still just have a nap time without Skylar wanting to play,
Yeah.
and really being able to take care of my body and my mind before a big race like this summer. So yeah, I don't really want to mess around when it's kind of a double trials, and Annie and I think Skylar kind of agree they want Dad to focus on work really, and then we get to all celebrate together whatever happens after.
Yeah. So speaking of double trials, everybody pretty much knows what happened in 2011. You didn't make the World Championship team, but then you rallied, came back to win the Olympic gold medal in 2012. Do those memories still come back to you with when you're training this summer, knowing that you really got that shot, and if you really miss it, you miss it?
Absolutely. And it happened at Irvine too, 2010. But I conquered that the last trials that were Irvine and made the team. So that was good. So it's a little better memories. Just outdoor swimming for backstrokes, always a little risky. People hit lane lines. Even though I train every day outdoors, I should be good at it. I have no excuses. Still, is in the back of your mind, don't mess this race up, because for me, at this point in my career, that could be it. If I'm not on the major stage for 2 years, it'd be very difficult to get sponsors. And really to just be on the national team, I don't know if that's even possible if you're not making the big meet. So there is some pressure involved, and I think a lot of people know what's at stake, and that's kind of fun in a way, because you make it, but then the pressure's off all the way through 19, all the way pretty much to 2020 trials. So it's a high-pressure summer, and that's just requires a lot of focus for right now.
Well, I think you're pretty much one of the people in the U.S. national team that knows all this. I mean, this is pretty much your third Olympic quad. You made an Olympic team in 2008, 2012, and you've been on the backstroke scene at the top pretty much all that length of time. What's your secret?
I mean, I would say I am consistent, but in a way I'm still have missed teams. Obviously 2016 was a big one to miss, but I think the secret is just really enjoying it and not letting the pressure get to me. I've talked about pressure here during this interview a good amount, but in a way it's kind of fun. It's adrenaline, and it's why we do it, to gain that intense focus before a race and get your body to a heightened sense of awareness that you can't find anywhere else. So it's kind of addicting, and enjoying that process and enjoying training, I think, is what's led to my longevity and mostly consistency in the sport. So I guess that's my secret, just finding ways to enjoy it and love it still.
And here at the Pro Swim Series, when you're racing all these races you've been swimming throughout the weekend here, are you more focused on the times, the strategy, the technique? Tell me what you're really come here to do.
Yeah, to try to execute race strategy and technique. The times I knew were going to be a little off. I think everyone here is pretty much in a really hard training block, and some people perform really well with that, and some people are a little low in the water. I think I'm one of the individuals that gets pretty low in the water. For me, the 100 free was pretty good, even though the time wasn't great. And just to do a 200 backstroke this morning felt pretty good. We'll see what I can do tonight. And that's, again, training. I don't have any aspirations to try to make the team in a 200 backstroke. It's just about training, try to execute a good race and have a good body position and pull patterns. So just making sure, I can swim the best I can swim even while tired, and hopefully forming those good habits while you're racing tired will transfer to good racing habits when you're rested.
And then how does it feel to know that when you're walking on deck, not just people on deck, but people in the stands are reaching out to you saying, Matt, I want a selfie, Matt, I want an autograph. I mean, after all these years, you're one of the most liked people on the national team. How does that make you feel?
Thanks, Jeff. No, it makes me feel great. I love it. I've talked to my story before, or I've shared my story where even when you're really down, having people ask for your autograph or a picture, it makes you feel pretty good and special. And even though you may have been disappointed in your swim, these great fans don't care so much. They appreciate the effort, and they're there to lift you up. And that's always been special, and I love that people recognize me. I've told stories when I was young, how I lived for the glory, and now I'm feeling I'm living the glory. It's pretty neat, only at swim meets, so it's not every day anywhere, but but at swim meets, you really do get to feel like a superstar, and that's pretty neat in the sport of swimming.
Living the dream, Matt. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jeff.
All right, so the C and D finals are still taking place here at the IU Natatorium. The TYR Pro Swim Series is wrapping up here in Indianapolis. We're going to say goodbye here from Deck Pass Live. Remember, we're back in Santa Clara in 3 weeks, June 7th through 10th. You don't want to miss it. Natalie Coughlin and I will be co-hosting all 6 shows. Who knows what we're going to have here at the desk? You don't want to miss any of that. So again, for everybody at USA Swimming, everybody in front and behind the camera, I want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you back here in Santa Clara.